Hello, this is VaderFan777 back again with another Star Wars vehicle review, and this marks the first of hopefully many to come Star Wars vehicle reviews because I am starting a new weekly episodic feature on my channel where every Monday I shall review one Star Wars vehicle, give a brief history of it, and then give my final opinion on it. And this is the first one I decided to do, coming from my favorite faction, the Empire, and my favorite character, Darth Vader. It's Darth Vader's TIE Advanced Mark I. Unfortunately, because it's an older vehicle, I don't have any packaging to show you, so let's just jump right into the vehicle. Starting with a brief history, the original Darth Vader TIE Fighter vehicle was released in 1979 to 1980. And it was released once again in 1979 and retailed for $14.99. Pretty cheap. It had an electronic screeching feature where if you pressed a button, two little motors grinded together and created a really ear-piercing screeching sound. And it was not accurate to the film really at all because the end was not really big enough and it was just a tad too dark. And by the end not being big enough, here's what I mean. Notice how the back of this one is very bulky. It has a lot of, it's thick. It has mass to it. But as the other one didn't have that. It was just the standard TIE Fighter one, which is a shame. Moving on. Like I said, it was not accurate to the film. The color was also much too dark. It should be a light grayish white, not this dark blue. And it did have the feature of a double opening canopy to put your Darth Vader in. And here's what I'll explain by double canopy. As displayed by this big TIE Fighter. As you can see, it's a TIE Fighter. Now if you pop it open like this, so you can see the nice canopy here, it pops open like that. It has two opening pieces instead of just one, which the majority of fighters follow now. Let's bring back Vader's TIE Advanced. And that about wraps it up for the vintage Kenner one. And then we get another one in 1997 under the name Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. And it was the second release, and the first one of the new line in 1997, and it retailed for $19.99. It had a very accurate body, but it was very inaccurate to the color. Firing missiles, plus extending cannons, added extra play value. And here's the little fun thing about the missiles. They were not that green color that you see on mine. They were actually the color of the vehicle itself, that gray color, and then later releases had green tips, which was very interesting, and did look a bit strange. In my opinion, at least. Moving on. It also had the single one-piece canopy, as you can see here. And this is actually a recast of the 1997 one, because every single TIE Fighter, at least Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, between 1997 and now, has been using that 1997 mold. So that's pretty impressive. It's held up that long, has it been over 15 years? I believe it has. Because 97, 2007, 2007, 2010, almost 15 years. We're on year 14 of this mold, and they haven't released it yet. Hopefully they'll release a new one, but for now, this one is pretty good. Moving on. In 2004, they released the best version of this one to date, in my opinion. It was a repaint of the 1997 fighter, and once again, cost $19.99. That one came from the OTC collection, also known as the Original Trilogy collection. It included a Darth Vader action figure, a Power of the Force retool with a soft goods cloak so we could sit down, and it had a much more accurate light gray color, which looks the best so far through the pictures that I've seen off of Jedi Temple Archives and eBay. Speaking of eBay, it's going for quite a bit on eBay. It's going for about $250 in the box, and that was a cut price sale that the person was having. That was just one I saw, so I'm not sure if that describes all of them. Moving on to the year 2007, we finally get an accurate name for Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. Darth Vader's TIE Advanced X1, or Mark I as I'll be calling it. And once again, the same mold as the 1997 one, and retailed at $19.99 once again. It has this same blue color. This is actually from the 30th Anniversary Collection, which is the one I have right here. No figure was included, and the missiles were changed to a green color. And finally, in 2008 and 2009, Darth Vader's TIE Advanced Mark I was released again in the blue and the red Legacy Collection packaging. It was just a repaint of, once again, the 1997 one, and cost $19.99. And once again, no figure was included, and the missiles were green. Now let's just get on to the features of the 2007 one, also known as the 1997 one, that I have in front of you right here. Like I said earlier, the missiles do fire, and if you saw this, the buttons are back here on both sides. So just give the little buttons a press, and the missiles come firing out. And as you just saw, the missiles are green. If I can get one to show you. There we go. A nice neon green color. Kind of shows what they looked like in the film. Not the missiles, but the lasers of the TIE Fighter. Like I said, it does have the opening canopy, which I already showed you. And on the bottom, if we flip them up, you can see that it has a trigger on the bottom of it, which looks a bit strange, but it has a purpose. When you pull the trigger back, the cannons on top actually come out. You can't see it, but I'll show you in a minute. And when you pull back, they come out. When you pull in, they go down. So keep that in mind as I show you the feature. As you can see, if you pull back, they come out. If you push forward, they go back in. That's a nice little feature which I have used many a time. Moving on. Aesthetically, it looks very nice except for the color. Like I said, the color is off. These little two bits couldn't be as obvious. I would like if they weren't as obvious. But, you know, you gotta deal with what you have. And let's just take a brief look inside the cockpit. As you can see, that little orange bit in there, just right in here, is actually where the X-Wing, like the targeting computer would it be, and just a few little buttons for Vader to mess around with as he's flying his TIE Fighter defending the Death Star. One major problem with this vehicle, unfortunately, was the wings, and as you can see with the littlest of ease, or the much ease, the wings just kind of pop off, and that's a really big problem because they're probably the most important part of this vehicle, if you think about it. And it's really its only sense of landing gear as well, so not having the wings being able to, you know, stay on very sturdy is a serious problem. I actually tried to glue mine, but couldn't even hold them on. Aside from that, that's about it for this vehicle. It's a very simple vehicle, not a lot of play features, but the ones that it does have are pretty impressive. At least I like them. And that about does it for Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. I mean, it's a great vehicle, and I highly suggest that you get it. It's relatively in scale with the figures and the other fighters. It's a bit smaller than your average TIE Fighter, which it should be. And I really personally love this vehicle. It's a great one to add to your collection and one that I highly suggest. Now, if you're looking to pick one up cheap, you're probably just going to want to get the 1997 one or like one of the more recent ones because they do sell relatively cheap out of box. And if you're looking to get the OTC one, good luck. It's going for quite a bit of money. I would suggest the OTC one if you're willing to shell out that much for just movie accuracy. But if you can't, just go for this one. You'll be happy with it. And that about wraps this one up. Out of 10, I would have to give this one an 8 out of 10. The mold has held up incredibly well since the 1997 Power of the Force era, as we still use it today, and it still looks relatively good in most of your Star Wars dioramas. And if you're looking to build an Imperial fleet, this is a perfect one to start off with because you don't need multiple ones. You only really need one to complete your Imperial fleet because it's only Darth Vader's, which is a great thing about it. And that wraps this one up. And just a little thing, if they are going to remake this, I would highly suggest just kind of take this mold, repaint it right, glue the wings on, and make little cover panels so we don't have to see that all the time. And then you have a really kind of perfect vehicle. Or if you just want to resculpt and make the ultimate vehicle, that'd be even better, in my opinion. But that's about it. Hopefully you enjoyed this review, and hopefully you'll enjoy the more episodes to come in the future. And that's it. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, and may the Force be with you.